Kia ora whānau, Tomo here, aka the Māori that bikes, and welcome to Arapukes Mountain Bike Park. Today I wanted to have a go at the Grade 5 Mind the Gap. Mind the Gap used to be known as Jack the Ripper, so I've been sessioning some of the features, especially the gap down the bottom. And then coming back up and going back down, coming back up and going back down. Now that I've finished all my sessioning, I'm actually going to try and do the whole thing in one go. Let's see what happens, and yeah, wish me luck. Sure. Rightio whānau, so in a similar vein like I did with Ride and Guide on Foo Fighter, I plan to do the same here with this trail. The only difference is I won't freeze the action, I'll more or less just show you the features from different angles, and hopefully it'll add a little bit of value so that you can sort of see what you're up for. So the first feature on Mind the Gap is in fact a very small gap jump. Now you've got an option to go around this particular feature. It's covered in a little bit of vegetation, but it's very flat and very small, so it would probably be no more than a bike length across. Very easy to hit, and just, you can carry your speed right over the top of it with no worries. So once you've cleared the small gap jump, you then head along towards the second section, which then leads you into a set of double drops. The main difference between these two drops is their height. The one on the left is slightly higher than the one on the right. They'll both get you down towards the next section, and you still have the option of taking that beeline again to the right hand side if you're not feeling the love for it. I feel that these two particular drops are a great sort of entryway to get practicing on drops, because the risk is quite low and you've got a good run off and you can see everything going into that next section. Worth your time to try. So after deciding which of the two drops you're going to do or not, the trail winds its way around to a series of progressive single drops. There are 3 of these in total, and they each build up in difficulty as you move down the section. So you've got a small one, a medium one, and quite a large one at the end before you have the opportunity to try the very large gap jump at the end. One of the good things I liked about this particular section is that no matter which one of the drops you were doing, you always had the option to peel off and do the beeline. One thing I did note, however, is that if you were going to commit to it, you did need to carry speed if you were going to go through and do the gap jump at the end. So you could, in theory, just hit the beeline all the way down and then hit the gap jump, but either way will get you there. The main point is safety, so that you've got a good run in and you've got a good run out on every single drop. So this is one of the 2 larger gap jumps on the trail. Now, something I had to note was that when I was coming out of the other section, like I said before, you do need to carry speed over this feature, because when you look at it from the side, it looks monstrous. I actually got in the middle of it for just a little bit, just to check it out, and it's quite wide. You're looking at least 2 to 3 bike lengths across. So hence the need to carry speed over the top. The smooth takeoff and landing certainly helps as you're going into those berms after it. So after doing the first gap jump, you then move on to the second. Now the differences between this gap jump and the previous one is that the takeoff is a bit higher and the landing is a bit lower. Also, the gap isn't as wide, and I consider this feature to be a bit easier than the first one. Now, you do come out of the 2 berms at the top there, and I found that I was putting too much speed coming through. So eventually I started to work out in my sessions that I could adjust my speed and actually go a little bit slower than needed, so I wasn't landing as deep. It got to the point where I wasn't even putting any crank turns except for the top, and I would just roll down, hit the feature nice and easy, and land on the other side, not a problem. Rightio, so there you have it whānau, my ride and guide of Mind the Gap. Please do keep in mind this is a grade 5 trail, so for the more experienced riders out there, you may not find this as challenging. But for those who are looking to progress on gaps and drops, this is an ideal trail to work on. 1, because it's not very long, and 2, you can progress at your own pace. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for the notifications, and I'll catch you up in my next video. Ciao. Ha ha ha.